Eleanor never used to think much about aging until she turned 72. One afternoon, as she sat flipping through an old photo album, she realized something unsettling. Her grandmother had lived to 98, her mother to 87, but she wasn't sure she'd make it that far. A recent health scare had left her feeling fragile, as if time was suddenly catching up. That's when she started wondering, what's the secret? How do some people reach 100, still vibrant, still full of life? Determined to find out, Eleanor dug deep into the habits of the world's longest living people. What she discovered shocked her. Living longer isn't about extreme diets or grueling workouts. It's about simple, powerful choices. And doctors swear by #2. Are you ready to uncover the 6 secrets that truly make all the difference? Let's begin with the one thing that gives life meaning and can add years to it. 1. A purpose that fuels you. Eleanor had never considered how important purpose was until she met Margaret. They were sitting in a cafe, sipping tea, when Margaret, 95 years old and sharp as ever, leaned in and said, "The secret, my dear, is to wake up excited for something." Eleanor listened, intrigued. Margaret still volunteered at a community center, helped children with reading, and even painted in her free time. It struck Eleanor, so many people her age talked about feeling adrift, like life had lost its shape after retirement. Days blended. Without work or children at home, what was there to look forward to? But Margaret was different. She lived every day, not just existed. Studies show that having a sense of purpose can add up to 7 years to your life. It's not about grand achievements. It's about finding something that brings you joy and meaning, whether it's learning a new skill, mentoring someone, or simply tending to a garden. Your mind and body thrive when you have a reason to engage with the world. That evening, Eleanor made a list. What had she always wanted to do but never had time for? She remembered how much she used to love writing. Maybe it was time to start again. The next morning, she picked up a notebook, and for the first time in years, she felt that spark of excitement again. So what fuels you? What's something big or small that would make your mornings feel meaningful again? 2. A diet doctors swear by. Doctors recommend this. Eleanor thought she was eating healthy enough. She had her toast, her morning coffee, and her usual dinner routine. But when her doctor asked her about her diet, he shook his head and said, "If you want to live longer, you need to eat like the people who do." At first, she was skeptical. Was he going to tell her to follow some complicated restrictive diet? Instead, he showed her research on the blue zones regions in the world where people routinely live past 100. Their secret: they eat mostly plant-based foods, lots of beans, whole grains, nuts, and very little processed sugar. One small habit surprised her. In Okinawa, Japan, elders practice harahachi-bo, which means eating until they're 80% full, never stuffed, never starving, just satisfied. That simple shift reduces inflammation, prevents overeating, and promotes longevity. Eleanor decided to experiment. She swapped her white bread for whole grain, added a handful of nuts to her afternoon snack, and filled her plate with more vegetables. The biggest change: she started slowing down, savoring her meals, and listening to her body. After 2 weeks, she felt lighter and more energetic. Her digestion improved, and she wasn't experiencing those mid-afternoon crashes anymore. She even learned that a small glass of red wine, a common habit in long-living regions like Sardinia, Italy, was linked to heart health. Eating for longevity isn't about strict diets. It's about small, enjoyable shifts that make you feel good inside and out. 3. Movement that feels effortless. Eleanor had always thought that staying fit meant sweating in a gym, lifting weights, or doing intense cardio. But then she read a study that changed everything. The longest living people don't work out the way we think of it. Instead, they move naturally throughout the day, walking, gardening, stretching, and even dancing. She remembered her friend Helen, 88 years old, who never missed a morning walk. Rain or shine, she strolled through the neighborhood, greeting shopkeepers and stopping to admire the flowers. She never talked about exercise, yet she was full of energy and always in high spirits. Inspired, Eleanor decided to stop forcing exercise and start enjoying movement. She began walking to the farmer's market instead of driving. She turned on music while making dinner and danced in her kitchen. She started doing gentle yoga stretches in the morning, not because she had to, but because it felt good. The result? After just a few weeks, her joints felt looser, her body stronger, and her mood lifted. She realized that movement wasn't about discipline. It was about weaving activity into daily life in a way that felt natural and joyful. If the idea of exercise feels overwhelming, ask yourself, how can I move more in a way that feels effortless? Maybe it's walking with a friend, planting flowers, or even just stretching while watching TV. The key isn't intensity, it's consistency. 4. Strong social connections. Eleanor always thought of herself as independent. She prided herself on being able to handle things on her own. But one evening, as she sat on her porch sipping tea, she felt something she hadn't admitted to herself before: loneliness. Her children had busy lives, friends had moved away, and she found herself going days without deep, meaningful conversation. Then she came across a study that stopped her in her tracks. Loneliness is as harmful as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. In places like Sardinia, Italy, and Okinawa, Japan, where people regularly live to 100, one thing stood out. They aren't alone, they live in tight-knit communities, surrounded by friends, family, and neighbors who check in on them daily. Social connection wasn't a luxury, it was a necessity. Determined to make a change, Eleanor took a small step. She called an old friend she hadn't spoken to in months. They talked for hours, laughing about old memories. Next, she joined a local book club, nervous at first, but soon finding joy in the weekly discussions. She even started a Sunday lunch tradition, inviting her grandchildren over for homemade meals. The transformation was immediate. She felt happier, more engaged, and even more energetic. Studies confirm that strong relationships boost immune function, lower stress, and even extend lifespan. So if you're feeling disconnected, take that first step. Call a friend, join a group, or simply chat with a neighbor. Human connection is one of the greatest longevity secrets, and it's never too late to strengthen yours. 5. Managing stress like a centenarian. Stress. It's sneaky, isn't it? You don't always notice it creeping in, but it shows up: tight shoulders, restless sleep, a constant feeling of being on edge. Eleanor had spent years worrying about bills, about her health, about things she couldn't control. But what if stress itself was aging her? In Icaria, Greece, one of the world's blue zones, stress isn't a dominant force. Why? Because the people there have built-in rituals to slow down, breathe, and release tension. Afternoon naps, laughter with friends, evening strolls. They take life at a different pace. Eleanor decided to experiment. She set an alarm on her phone. Twice a day, she would pause, take deep breaths, and just be still. At first, it felt strange, even silly. But after a week, something shifted. She slept better. She felt lighter. The constant tension in her shoulders eased. She also started journaling before bed, letting out worries onto paper rather than carrying them in her heart. She learned a simple breathing exercise. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4. A technique so simple, yet powerful enough to reduce cortisol, the stress hormone linked to aging. Centenarians don't avoid stress, they manage it well. They laugh often, they rest, and they practice gratitude. What's one small thing you can do today to release stress? A walk outside? A call with a loved one? Or maybe just taking a deep breath, right now, as you listen to this. Remember, every deep breath is a step toward a longer, healthier life. 6. Quality sleep is non-negotiable. Eleanor had spent decades pushing sleep aside. There was always something to do, something to worry about, something to keep her up just a little longer. She thought feeling tired was just a normal part of aging. But then she heard something that shocked her. Poor sleep is directly linked to a shorter lifespan. The longest living people in the world, they prioritize deep restorative sleep. They don't fight their natural rhythms. They go to bed early, wake up with the sun, and treat sleep as essential, not optional. Eleanor decided to take a new approach. She set a bedtime routine: no screens an hour before bed, a cup of chamomile tea, soft lighting, and reading instead of TV. At first she still struggled to fall asleep, but she stuck with it. Within 2 weeks, she noticed the difference. Her mind felt sharper, her mood improved, and she had more energy throughout the day. The best part, her body started waking up naturally, without an alarm. Here's the thing: good sleep isn't about sleeping longer, it's about sleeping better. It's about consistency, relaxation, and allowing your body to truly rest. Tonight, when you lie in bed, think about this: are you giving your body the quality sleep it deserves? If not, start small, dim the lights earlier, put the phone away, and let your body unwind. Because the secret to living longer might just be the hours you spend resting. Alright, let's be real. Who doesn't want to be that sharp, sassy 100-year-old still stealing the spotlight at family gatherings? You've got the playbook now. 6 simple, life-changing secrets. No magic potions, no crazy diets, just real, doable habits. So which one are you trying first? Drop it in the comments, because hey, we're in this longevity club together.